quote, hearing Ottawa has legitimate interest in Craig Berube, obviously former St. Louis Blues head coach. For me, he's number one on my power rankings in who I would like the Senators to hire. So that made me feel good to hear that there is interest from the Sens side. And I wonder if Berube, just as much as the teams, are saying, hey, I want to see which jobs are available when the whole marketplace is set.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a possibility, Ross. In Bruce Garriock's article, he talked about how Todd McLellan said that he's looking for the right team and the right fit. So he's not going to be a guy that just takes a job to get a job. He's kind of got the cachet and the experience where he can do that. Now we know before Dave Poulin was hired by the Sens, when he was talking on TSN, he mentioned that he liked Berube a lot. And Ross, EP has this new feature, or at least it seems new to me, and it's called Connections. If you scroll down on someone's EP page, they have connections. Craig Berube's connections, one of the top guys on his list, Dave Poulin. They played together from 1986 to 1995 on the Flyers and Capitals. So that would be
two spots.
So that would be a big reason why Dave Poulin is like, before he was with the Sens and probably now that he's with the Sens, is like, hey, I know Craig Berube very well. I'm willing to put kind of my stamp of approval on him. And what does it seem like the most valuable asset for NHL head coaches right now by teams talking that are looking for a head coach, players that don't have a head coach? Accountability. And guys like Craig Berube, guys like Dean Evason, guys like Todd McLellan, they're looking at this and they're saying, we're old school hard-nosed coaches. You want accountability? I'll serve you up a good portion of accountability. And those are the types of guys I think the Ottawa Senators should be looking at. I'm with you, Ross. I think Berube would probably be my top choice as well, followed by Evason. And I don't know why. The idea of Todd McLellan doesn't excite me that much. Maybe that's unfair by me, and mostly because he's been coaching out west, I guess. But the top two guys for me are Berube and Evason, I would say, for sure.
I don't know if I had just missed it, but it was updated half hour ago. This must be the article from Bruce Garriock that you're talking about. Yep. Lead is Ottawa Senators have taken the next step in their search for a new head coach. So I had just seen the tweet from Andy Strickland, and it sounds like Craig Berube, Dean Evason, and Todd McLellan are the top candidates for the job, according to Bruce Garriock. So I find that very interesting. Garriock, obviously, read the article at the Ottawa Sun. They received permission to interview Wild head coach Dean Evason. Obviously, Evason's still under contract with the Wild, so you have to get permission, but the end of their salary comes off the books if he gets hired. So they always say yes to those. I've never heard someone kind of block someone else from getting a job after they've been fired.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. I know it has happened before, but look at Dean Evason's record with the Wild. That's something that I glossed over. I think it's like 147, 77, and 27. Did I get that right?
Playoff record's brutal, though. They were first round outs every single year.
Ross, you know what's cool?
Getting to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm not against Dean Evason. I think that would be a decent pickup. Like, he wouldn't be my first choice, but definitely not last choice either. Yeah. In the playoffs, 8 wins in 23 games, but a great regular season points percentage of .639.
And Ross, you also got to, like, you can't just look at that in a zoomed in screenshot. You got to look like the Minnesota Wild. That's a team that's strapped with $14.5 million in dead cap space. Like, if you were able to give him 2 $7 million players on that Wild team, we're talking about a whole different story here. So I take that with a grain of salt. And as a team in the Ottawa Senators that hasn't even made the playoffs in 7 years, I'd be stoked to have 3 first-round exits, not going to lie. And then the thing with Todd McLellan is he has a massive cap hit. Not cap hit, salary. I think Bruce was saying in the article, he's slated to make over $5 million US in his 2 years left or 1 year, but he has years left on that LA deal over $5 million. Now, we know the old regime, the Ottawa Senators head coaching budget was among one of the lowest in the league. So I don't know if this new regime is going to be more willing to put that money forward, but I got to assume that's among the upper range of NHL coaches' salaries right now. So I don't know if that's something that's going to have Ottawa back away from that type of money with Todd McLellan.
Accountability is the word that the Senators will use whenever they do end up hiring their next head coach. Really looking forward to this playing its way out, and the Senators landing on a guy who can not only bring accountability, obviously that's important, but I think have like an air about them, and I think that's where Berube and Evason would be solid guys. Like, I watched Sheldon Keefe just after the game. He inspires zero confidence if I'm a fan of that team. So I'm hoping that a guy like Craig Berube comes in and just knows what the Ottawa Senators can be, and starts dealing with it from that standpoint.
And Ross, all you have to do is look at the backlash from St. Louis Blues fans when he was fired. They were pissed.
Except for Jordan Kyrou.
I think the Kyrou thing was overblown. I didn't jump on that like everybody else did. Didn't all he say was, yeah, we're moving forward to the new guy now, or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah, the tone implied that he wasn't super sad that he's gone. But hey, it's the way it goes.
Yeah. Do you have to be sad about it? I don't know. I don't think that, like, what the other spectrum, Ross, is look at the Ottawa Senators. Tim Stützle and Brady Tkachuk were pouting and sad about DJ Smith getting fired. That didn't work out great either, right? So no. I just think that, yeah, I wasn't jumping on Kyrou for that. And you can really tell a coach by what the fans think, or at least what kind of attitude he gives off based on what the fans think. And they were pissed that he was let go. So I look at that as something.
I like how you look at it more from the fans than one of the players in the room. You're like, no, the fans liked him. No, a lot of players liked him too.
And look, young players probably too. You're not always going to like a guy that holds you accountable and is a hard ass. And, it's not always fun to go to the rink when you're a young player used to scoring goals and you've got millions in the bank and this guy is barking at you every single day. Like, you might not always like that. Good. Like this, we got to move on from being a hockey club to being a hockey team.